Всем привет, мои дорогие друзья, с вами снова Бажное, и сегодня я бы вам хотел рассказать одну интересную вещицу. А вещица это называется Demonic Crazy Guys, это канал, на который я переезжаю. Значит, ссылку я оставлю в описании. Это Demonic Crazy Guys, это совместные 4 канала, то есть Стронки, Герна Red и Crazy, фу, блядь, Cyberday. Вот. А теперь мы продолжаем проходить эту игрушку Stanley Parable.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
Ну да, конечно, вряд ли он будет помнить. Ой, блин, забыл, простите. Настройки, звук. Общая громкость вот так вот. Окей. Назад. Продолжим. Все, нормально. Теперь нормально. Так. Кот. Если ты будешь нападать на мою руку, ты будешь бит. Понятно тебе? Вот так. Ладно, пошли. Опять две двери. Да, пошли сюда.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Нет, хрен тебе, не пойду туда. Ай, простите. Ладно, пошли.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Окей, пошли.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Бля. Ладно, пошли.
What do we want? What are we looking for?
Точнее, я хочу спать. Не знаю, что хочешь ты.
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful.
Ладно, вы это все видели.
If we... No, wait.
Я сдох. Возвращаемся.
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started. And if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
Как там можно забраться на стул, я забыл. Так, где, блядь, дождь? Где, блядь, дождь? Я не вижу. Да, хоть... О. Давай. Отлично, прошли. И опа! Стоп.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Да.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just hit escape and restart the game any old time you want. Like right now. You could have done it just then.
Давайте
Now
подождем.
would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain. There once was a man named Stanley, who people considered so manly. But the truth must be told, he was not very old and was quite particularly gangly. What Stanley liked most was buttons. He pushed them like some kind of glutton. He did it all day in a meaningful way, but his brain had long ceased to function. Which is why he is in this parable and lives an existence quite terrible. And if you are not strong and keep playing along, you too will become quite unbearable. Yes. You too will become quite unbearable.
Приятная музыка, конечно. В следующий раз я попробую нажать «нет». Что будет интересно? Стоп, а тут еще есть? Нет. Ну, дядька, конечно, не поет, но ладно. Подождем, мы такие вот подождем. Пока наслаждайтесь музыкой, или я могу даже перемотать. Довольно скучно. Наконец-то. Как-то. Нельзя. Нормально, так я его поливаю, а он вообще не отзывается. Щей. Балда какая. Ладно. Ой. Что-то как-то совсем. Ладно, давайте начать игру сначала. Перезапустим, как он и просил. Лай-лай-лай-лай. Я не понял сейчас прикол. Ну, закрывается, слушай. Ну ладно, пошли. Закрывается, сволочь. Ладно, пошли. Стоп,
When
сразу?
Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ну ладно, пошли. Хорошо, сходим.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming!
Ага!
This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
Нет у него жены, придурочек.
My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Блять. Что за блять?
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Весело.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body.
Как отвлечь кота? Дайте ему салфетку, офигительно. Ошибись просто. Конец никогда не наступит, ребят. Ну, правда. Суровая правда жизни, конца нет. Блять, почему здесь я выбрать... Я выбраться в окно хочу опять. Выпусти меня. Выпусти меня.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ну да, конечно.
Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Давайте посмотрим.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. He didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Блин, закрыто, сволочь.
Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see, we went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Ага, вот. Ну, пошли.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay. From the top.
Блять. Кого-то уволили, ребят. О, господи, я уже заговариваюсь, ребят, кого-то уволили. Ладно, я хотел как раз...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ща.
Дайте забраться мне на этот стул.
О, наконец-то. Опа. Ну, блин, ну... О, господи. Давай с разбегу. Ой, дебилка. Блин, пошли туда. Дальше пошли. Есть. Тут ничего нет. Ладно, пошли сюда. Обратно. Так хочется же, блин, нажать на... Ну. А нельзя пока что. А вот... Да нельзя это... Херовостенько немножечко. Давай. Да. Ну, японский... Японская бурмашина, давай! А, то есть вот эту хуйню специально здесь. Иди в жопу. Пошли к начальнику. Я ему нажалуюсь, что в окно не пускают меня, эти уроды. Не пускают меня в окно, блин. Начальник, расскажи мне от ней. Нахрена вы эту хрень туда поставили? Меня теперь в окно не...
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Ну, давай найдем историю. Пошли сюда. Пошли сюда. Пошли сюда. Теперь сюда. Мы куда придем? Здесь дверь куда-то ведем. Ну, пошли в дверь, хорошо. Пошли в дверь. Ага, то есть мы пришли в ровно противоположную часть здания, да?
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Посмотри, здесь все... Сволочь ты, рассказчик. Тварь. Последняя.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Я все-таки не буду, скажем так, бросать свои попытки. Блять. Буду. Так, хорошо, пошли. Давайте все выключим к херовой бабушке. Опа. Вырубили, отлично. Идем. Дверь. Кто спиздил двери?
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Давай вернемся обратно, хорошо. Давай вернемся обратно. Вроде все на месте, все как и было. Все так же абсолютно, в общем-то, и как бы и все. Кот не жри своих...
Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Бля. Это же были офисы.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no.
Согласен,
No, I
как-то
don't feel
неправильно.
right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart.
Блять, ну... Кто тебя просил? Ты открыл бы эту пиздатую дверь, блин. Кот, ты охренел? О, как. Ладно, это в следующей серии. Давайте. Помните про новый канал? Ссылка в описании. Ставьте охерительное количество лайков. Ставьте подписки. Комментируйте желательно. Хорошо. И до новых встреч. Пока.